Hey everyone, Chris Stegall here with another round of Q&A with Matt K, and that means I am joined once again by Matt Kaufman. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Chris. How's it going?
Pretty good. It is Wednesday, and that means it's time for us to take a question from the Trailblazer community and watch as you answer it live. Well, not live, but I'm watching it live.
In real time.
Yeah.
I answered in real time with no editing and no assistance, other than your assistance.
Right way to put it. Yeah. And so no hidden cuts, no Google searches, simply
nothing up my sleeve.
Salesforce experience.
Yeah.
And as always, if you have a question that you would like answered on a future episode, please submit those to quick2.click/Q&A. We bump you right to the top of the list. We also do look at questions from Reddit, from the Trailblazer community feed, and anywhere that people are asking about Salesforce. So if you see a question that's maybe not even your question, but you see a question on TikTok, on Facebook, that you're like, I wonder that too, go ahead and submit it to the form and we'll bump it right to the top of the list. And the last little plug I will do for the show is if you like this, please do like and subscribe to these videos. It makes us feel good. It helps spread these videos to a broader audience, which generates more questions, which makes the videos more helpful. And it's sort of a feedback loop of Salesforce support, which is something the Salesforce community is historically really, really good at. So with that said,
and if you don't like these videos, you should definitely subscribe, because nothing pisses me off more than someone who doesn't like the video that also subscribes.
Yeah.
Man, that really upsets me. So if you want to upset me and you don't like these videos, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, comment mean things, because it's still engagement.
Well, that's going a little too far. Let's just stick to subscribing and not
like and subscribe and comment positive things.
Yeah.
I do have the ability to moderate comments, though, and I will get excited when I get the notification that says somebody commented. But I guess nobody's commented mean things yet, so I don't have that experience.
That's not true. We did get one, remember? It was on LinkedIn. We got a very negative comment about a video that we made. About how it was not polished or edited. Or
that's what gave birth to this series.
Yeah,
was we posted a video that said, "This is not professionally done. This is too fly by the seat of your pants." And we said, that's a great idea. We should stop editing.
Yeah, saves a lot of time.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into the question for today. First up, or only up, unless this question gets rejected as impossible. Michele asks in a question about a pick list of reject reasons in approval processes. I will go ahead and zoom in here.
Could you raise it a little? There we go. Perfect.
So she says, I would like to be able to have a pick list of reject reasons in the approval process. For example, when an approver clicks the reject button, I would like the person to be presented with pick list options of the reason that the request was rejected. The free text comment leaves room for error. Based on the reject reason, I would send a customized email. Ideas?
Yes. Approval processes are a really old feature in Salesforce. So I don't use them as often as I used to. I think we can do something, but it won't be as streamlined as Michele probably wants. But I'm more than happy to take a stab at this. We should set a time limit, because I don't know if I'll be able to really do it. But yeah, okay.
I do have some other questions queued up if you'd like to see alternates, and then we could take Michelle's offline so she still gets an answer. But
so I think in order to do what Michele wants, you basically will have to reject the. We could do it. We'll do something. That's fine. We'll do something. Yeah, I feel bad now. People are watching this and they might actually want to see the answer. And I'm like, no, let's do a different one. Let's do it. Let's share my screen. We'll do something.
I'm going to Slack you the link to the question there.
Okay. I have Slack. I use it all the time, and I see your question, and I'm opening it.
Your screen is now shared.
Okay, perfect. I'll zoom in a little. So I think we can do something. It's not going to be great. Like I said, approval processes are an older feature, so they don't tend to have a lot of enhancements to it over the years. We can do something.
So this is not a simple screen flow solve. Because that was my instinct was, it seems like a flow could do it.
That's well, so we can definitely do something not using approval processes, right? Like so there's this built-in feature called approval processes, and
Right.
it works a very specific way. You can make your own, right? So yes, we could do a screen flow that would do something like that. We might be able to do something with a flow. I think the ideal is part of the reject process. You cannot actually hit reject without having the drop down. I think that would be ideal. Using custom code, I know we can do that because we can use code to kind of interact with the approval process behind the scenes. I don't know if we can do it with a flow, but maybe we can. That's a good point. Flows, I'm still not a flow expert, but maybe we can. So let's start by going to my org. Here we go. Here's my org. I'm going to open up setup as well, and we'll just look at the approval process section of setup. So you see, you can even tell just from the look of it, this is an older look and feel inside setup, which we often will see. Things that are available in the Lightning UI that were older often still have kind of that older type of thing. And we can set up an approval process for, you see lots of different records here. I'm going to go ahead and do it for opportunities.
We don't see your pick list there.
You don't, yeah, that's right. You don't see my pick list. That's correct. Yes. But there are a lot of different records. You can see all sorts of random records in here as I click around. I always forget that you don't see it. I'm going to do it for opportunities, but basically most records, even records that you wouldn't want to create an approval process for, you can create an approval process for. There's a wizard you can do it with. There's also just a jumpstart wizard and a standard setup wizard. Jumpstart, I think, is faster. It says to create a new approval process, choose the jumpstart wizard. Or use standard wizard to configure all approval options. I'll do jumpstart, right? And we're going to say this is the opportunity approval process. And we want it to be on a related list. Sure, I'm not going to have any criteria. We're just going to kind of get through this quickly and take a look at what are our options here. So here you can see these are the steps, basically. I'm not going to read them to you. You can pause the video and see it. So the initial submission action, what typically happens when someone submits a record is it locks it so that it can't be changed while it's in the submission process, which makes sense because you want someone to approve it and then you go and change it, right?
Right.
So typically it's locked. And then we can have approval steps. You can have multiple people approve it, etc. You can see here there's final rejection actions. Where we can do stuff, right? So we can update a field. We can send, create a task, send out an email, or send an outbound message to another system. So there's stuff that we can do there. But typically, the UI, the user interface, is this built-in user interface. But you're right, Chris. We might be able to do something with a flow to kind of facilitate it, as if we were able to modify the standard screen. So that's a good point. I might be able to do something there. The other thing we're going to need to do is go to our opportunity object and make sure we have a field called like rejected reason or something like that. Okay, so let's create a new pick list field, and I'm going to just put in some random stuff in there. I'm going to call it approval rejected reason, although that's kind of weird, but that's fine. And we'll say too high price, too low price, not enough items, sure, not enough products. What would be another reason? Too many products, yeah. Too many products. Date too soon. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We're just putting some values here so I can kind of get to the point where this might be doable. We'll hit next and next, and we're going to add this new opportunity field.
Now I have a question that I suspect the answer is just no, that will break it. But if that field was a required field and you had the default value of like not yet reviewed or something, and then on the approval process with the final rejection action, if you had it update the field to be null, then it would say, hey, you need to fill in this field before you can save because it's required. And then your approver would have to pick one. Or do you think
something like that might work. So we could try doing something like that. Now my guess is, well, let's see. Okay, so let's create another pick list and we'll call this approval status. Now the problem is these fields that I'm creating are on the opportunity.
Yeah.
Most people, when you think about these fields, they should exist on the approval itself,
Right.
And so this doesn't scale well. If we have multiple approval processes, we have one in stage 1 and one in stage 2. This isn't going to work well. You could create a lot of fields, but it's just not great. But yeah, we could try. I'm just going to kind of start building stuff out here, and we'll see what we use, and then we'll recap later if needed. But yeah, we might be able to do something like that, where if it's set to rejected, then we need this other field filled in, and then we can see what happens, right? Let's go to an opportunity here, and I'm going to refresh. And let's just see if that related list shows up. This might be a lightning page here. Let's just see stage history. Yeah, I don't think we have the approval related list on this page. So we'll have to add that. Now, before I add it, let me point out, though, I do have something that does look modern here on my opportunity layout, and that is Mambo Merge. Yeah, you can see here, this is the Mambo Merge app right here on the opportunity. Mambo Merge is a native application for Salesforce that allows you to generate beautiful documents right there in Salesforce natively. So it's 100% secure, 100% safe, and you can use it quickly. And best of all, Mambo Merge does have a free tier that's available. Let me get to the pricing page real quick. Free tier available to all Salesforce customers. So there's no excuse for not generating beautiful documents out of your Salesforce org. It's as easy as putting the Mambo Merge component right here on your page, uploading a template that looks however you want it to look, and then you'll generate a document with your data and your template merged together right from Salesforce. Quick and easy, safe and secure Mambo Merge. You can learn more about it and get your free edition of Mambo Merge at quick2.click/Mambo with Matt K. Once again, since I said it wrong, quick2.click/Mambo with Matt K. Okay, so what I'm going to have to do probably here is edit this lightning page and see if I can get that related list to show up here, because oh, that's interesting. Here we go. Yeah, okay. I'm going to move that there, and I'm going to choose, I think, related list single, which if you're a regular viewer, you know that I like this component. And there it is, approval history. Perfect. Okay. And we'll hit save and save. And it's already activated, so I don't need to activate again. If you're doing this in the real world, you're going to do this in a sandbox, test it out, all that stuff. This is not for real, so we're going to just do it this way. Okay, and then I'm going to also need a way to invoke the approval process. So I'm going to go back to edit page, and I'm going to see if I can get this button to show up. Oh, lovely. I may need to edit the page layout. We'll see. My internet connection. I think I'm online.
I can still hear you. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. There it is. Submit for approval. We're going to hit done. There we go. It's there. And save. And save. And okay. Oh. There we go. Okay, so when I hit submit for approval, this should kick off this approval process that we just created, which was, oh, we didn't activate it. 1 second. Let me get back to here, because I believe we did not activate it, and we need to activate it. So, yep, let's activate it. Okay, and now if I hit this button, let's see what happens. I'm going to choose myself as the approver, which normally you wouldn't do, but I'm testing. Okay, so we can see here that the approval request has been submitted. Step 1 is actually not doing much. I can now approve or reject it. Now allow me to just click reject to see what happens. And see, all we're given is this comments. So I can say rejected, right? There's no drop down, which is what Michele was asking for.
Right.
Okay, now Chris, you had said, well, what if we have somehow make this field required, this approval rejected reason required, reason field required, so that when the status is marked as rejected, it's required. What's going to happen? It's a great question. let's find out. Let's find out by going to the correct screen first. Okay, so final rejection actions. We're going to go ahead and create a new action that's going to mark set status to rejected, and the field update will be approval status, and the value will be rejected. Okay. And so when I reject it, this is going to mark it as rejected. I now need to also create a validation rule so that that reason field will be required. So let's try that out. Okay, so we're going to approval rejected reason and approval status. Okay, so when this field is set to rejected and approval rejected reason is blank. Let's see if that will compile. Then we want to say rejected reason is required. Oh. Try it one more time. Nope, it's a pick list. Okay, let's do that. Is pick val, and or actually let's do, yeah, it's fine. Try that. Okay. Oh, we did not get an error message. We also didn't get a green. That's weird. Let's save it, see what happens. Okay. We can test this out too. Let's test this. So if I mark this status as rejected and I hit save, we should get an error message saying rejected reason is required. Great. I want to go back to that real quick and put it on the field. The approval rejected reason field. There we go. Okay. And so closing unneeded windows. If we try that one more time. Perfect. That's what we were looking for. Now the question is, does this actually happen when we do the approvals? So one more time, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to submit for approval. And we're going to say test 2, submit, and submit to myself. Okay, I'm not expecting this to work, by the way. Just, you know, I'll be pleasantly surprised if it does. So we're going to set reject, and I'm going to say rejection to with validation rule on. No way. What? Well, that's crazy, because now what happens is if I were to try to edit this record and hit save, we're going to get an error message.
Oh.
So that's not good. That's terrible. We don't want that. Let's see. Okay, so you had said, what if we do this with a flow? That might be something we can do. Let's see. Again, flows, although they've been around for a while, it's still not something that I am the best at. I admit that. I spend too much time writing code, not enough time playing with flows. So let's see if there's a template. And I'm going to try approval. Nope, no template for approval. Okay. Then let's try a new one. And again, we could always do this not using the real approval process. I know we can do that. But let's see what our options are here. So I guess we would, let's see, assignment, create records, update record. There are actions. There are actions that are built in. Let's see if we can submit for approval, lock record. But I don't see the approve option or the reject option. There's approvals, there's a category, and it's just submit. So that is not going to help us. Someone at home is watching, laughing, saying, oh, I know exactly how to do this. I know how to do it with code. So we could do that. I know how to do it if we just want to make a fake approval process and not use the real approval process. We could do that too.
Yeah.
So that's an option. I'm a little shocked that the approval process was able to edit the record in a way that normally a user would not be able to edit. I'm just curious if there's any setting somewhere about that. But this is an older feature, remember? So sometimes older features don't behave the same as new stuff.
Yeah. So basically what happened was the approval process was able to ignore the validation rule, or at least not like fire the validation rule
Right.
and trigger the error.
Yeah. It could be an order of operations issue. I'm not sure. It definitely is a little odd, but yeah. Okay, so we're locking the record. Final approval options. Final rejections options, record lock. Okay. What could it be? Edit entry. Okay, no. I'm trying to think, can we add another step maybe? Well, this, like I said, I knew it was a tough one. Okay, this is step one. Okay. How do I add another step? I can't even remember how to do that. Let me deactivate it. Oh, interesting. Okay, so there's the final rejection actions, and there's these rejection actions here. I wonder if we could do something like, no, I don't think that would work. See, none of these really change the screen.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. And I'm not going to start writing code now. Lock the record for editing, set status to rejected. We did that, and somehow it was able to. It's crazy.
Do you think that if we did that same thing, not in the final rejection action, but in the inline rejection action, it might behave differently, or it's the same?
It's possible. Yes, that's possible. We could try that. Let's do that. Let's do that, and we'll remove this one here, and we'll activate it, and then we'll go back to the opportunity. I'm just going to refresh, and we'll try again. I did have an idea just now that I'll also maybe explore. So let me submit for approval, and I'm going to say test 3, I think.
Yeah. Do you think that because it's already, the value's already rejected?
Oh, you're right. Good point. Let's fix that. So we're going to hit save. Okay. And actually, I just want to check one more thing. If I just, yeah, I must. Okay, I'm going to just fill in anything here. Okay, yeah. So everything works. Okay, so submit for approval. Test 3. Why can't I get the right key? There we go. Test 3. Assign it to myself. Come down here to the approval history. I'm going to reject. Rejection test 3. Wow.
Huh.
I think it's an order of operations thing. It's definitely not great. Okay, so there's a couple things we could do. I know what Michele really wants. She wants it that you cannot click the reject button until you've entered the reason.
Right.
I get that. But there's a couple other ways of handling it. One would be, upon rejection, we assign a task to the person who rejected it, saying, hey, you need to go fill in this extra field. Here's a link, right, to fill it in. And that link could open up a screen that just has the reason. Could do something like that. You could do that without code. we wanted to. We could also just say task, go update the reason, right? Here's a link to the opportunity. Please update the reason. That would work. It does say here that the free text comment leaves room for error. That's totally true. So there's a training issue. You could train people, hey, use the right word in your reason. And assuming that your reasons were not too similar, right? You could have a rule that says if the rejection reason contains too many items, send one email. We might be able to do something like that. In fact, that's what I was gonna end up checking for this flow builder. So let's come back. Let me do a different type of flow. That was a screen flow. So I know we could do it with code. There might be some pre-built components, Apex actions that you can install that would do this. But let me try. Start from scratch. If I wanted a record triggered flow, I don't know. Do approvals? No. So the approval process is actually a really weird object. It's a series of objects. I don't think these are the right objects. So we might not be able to do flow on approvals. Whoa. I'm going to go to the Salesforce object reference. I'm not really Googling here. I just want to see if we can find the objects that are used for approvals. I used to know this stuff off the top of my head. There it is, approval. That's for the contract though. Process, here it is. So process definition, and then process instance, yes, and then process instance step. That's what I was looking for. So if I type in, nope, can't do a flow on an approval. Okay, so going back to our question here. If you really want to use a Salesforce approval process, the built-in feature, you're limited. The best you can do, I think, is send the rejector a task or an email or something saying, hey, you need to fill in the rejected reason. Unless you want to start using some code in front at some point. You could either have a flow that calls Apex to do the appropriate steps and handle the approval, or you could create a whole custom UI using Lightning Web Components or Visualforce to control it that way too. I think the simpler solution is don't use the approval process for the approval and rejection. If you want, you could probably use it just for the locking, and instead just create fields. And have a flow that says, what's your status? If your status is rejected, okay, now you got to fill in this other field that says the reason. And that's probably the better way to do it. I know it's not great. It's a really old feature. And so many new things have come out since then that are more powerful, even though I do like the locking feature of the approval process. That's pretty much the only place where you can actually lock a record easily. You could incorporate that, just the locking functionality, I think, without custom code. But yeah, this is a tricky one. Sorry.
And then one thing that came to mind when you described Michelle's question and boiled it down to the fact that she probably doesn't want to have the reject option appear until there's a reason.
Yeah.
Could you use like the contextual visibility of a Lightning component to say, don't show the approval chunk on the screen without a reject or approval reason?
So yeah, you could do something like that. The tricky thing is, so approval processes have, I don't know what feature she's using. Again, the lock feature of the approval process is really cool. It's not widely used, but this is, you
could be locked and they wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, you can use validation rules to kind of lock a record, but this actually puts a lock on the record, like a picture of a lock, an image, at least in Classic. I don't know about well, let's try it out. Let's check if we submit for approval one more time. So we test for. So in Classic, you'd get a little lock on the record, and it would prevent an end user from editing that record. So it's really cool. We may not get that lock anymore. No, it doesn't look like we do.
If you try to edit one of those fields, does it throw a little lock?
Well, I'm an admin, so I can edit. Remember, if we go back to the approval process, that was one of the features, record editability. Now we can edit this. Let's go ahead. Actually, I probably should have. Oh no, what did I do? We can edit this. Let's just go through the whole wizard. I don't know which step it is here. Oh, well, okay, wait a minute. Okay, so this might work. Administrators or the currently assigned approver can edit records. Okay, so Chris, you may have solved the problem. There are other issues, though. If you use Salesforce Mobile, you can actually do approvals from your mobile. It can be convenient, things like that. You can get an email notification. You click. So there are places where you may not be able to do this. The other thing is, we want them to be able to approve. We just don't want them to be able to reject. Right?
Yeah.
So hiding this, we can definitely hide it. Let's
And they may want the records locked from the approver, in which case this is not ideal.
Yeah, that's the thing. So like that, yeah, this is a solution. It's not what she really is looking for, but this is a solution. Yeah. Let's go ahead and look at this approval history, and we're going to set component visibility, and we're going to say if the approval rejected reason is not equal to blank. I wanted it to be blank. Oh, well, that's frustrating. Is blank not an option? Or we might have to go to advanced. Okay, yeah. So record approval rejected reason done equals. Oh, come on. There we go. Done. Okay. The filter logic is met. Let's see if I can do this. Add filter. So we can do that. We don't need it to be advanced this time. Okay, let's just do it that way. It's fine. And normally I'd put all of them there. I'd come up with something clever. Don't worry about it. Okay, so it should be hidden right now. We don't see the approval history. If I change this, now we see it, and I can now reject it. The problem is I couldn't approve it, so we'd have to somehow get the approve button to also show up. Yeah. Which now it's like, okay, so basically, what we could do, and this is definitely silly and would require a lot of end user training, but we might be able to come up with a way to do it. Let's save that, and then I'm going to come here, and instead of it being based on these fields, we're going to base it on the status field. Okay, so let's go back. Oh, let's go back. Let's try this one more time. This is, I mean, at this point, we're not really using the approval process, but we might be able to figure out a way to do it. Okay, so I'm going to pretend like I just got notified. Hey, Matt, actually, let's go through the, well, let's activate it. Let's do it. Activate. And let's refresh. Okay. So end user or opportunity owner. Uh-oh, where is it? Did I not actually finish activating it? No, I did. Oh, interesting.
So that button is also gone.
But it shouldn't be. We might be able to do it. Look at that. The submit for approval button is supposed to be there. Okay, interesting. Let me just refresh. I'm going to do that little trick that I like to say. You show the Chrome Developer Console. Oh my goodness. So it doesn't show up unless the related list is there?
We're learning a lot about the approval process today.
Yeah, like I said, it's an older feature. I used to have to use it a lot. I mean, we're talking about 15 years ago. Let's check out the. I was gonna say let's check out the page layout, but I just realized this Lightning page has been upgraded, so we don't see page layouts anymore. But let's just check it out, and we'll go to buttons, and I don't see anything there. We'll go to mobile. Wait, let's go back to buttons. Yeah, submit for approval is already on the page, and okay. If we go back to flows, I'm just curious. When we were on screen flow, I believe there was an action to submit for approval, right? Yes. Okay. So you could create your own button to submit for approval. Let's call this ask for approval, because I don't want it to be the exact same. It'll be too hard to tell. Record ID will be the current record ID. How do I get the current record ID? Oh, no. Oh, I'm just having one of these days. Do we even need a screen flow? Let me think. Okay, so we're going to have to create a variable. And it's going to be a variable. It's going to be record ID. I believe it has to be all lowercase. And the type is going to be, I think we just use text. Someone at home is going to be laughing so much. Oh, we could actually pass in an approval process ID. That's interesting too. Okay, so I think. Okay, let's do one other thing here while we're at it. I have an idea. Slowly it's gelling. It's coming together, right? Let's see how quick. Okay, so I need a new status here called submitted, and we're gonna also go back to. I'm like jumping around, and I apologize, but I need to come here, save this, and update this, add a filter. Now this may not be updated with the latest. Oh, perfect, it's there. Okay, submitted, done. So any of these, save, back, cancel, back. Okay. Okay, so here is what I'm thinking. Nope, we don't want an existing. We got it. On submission, we'll figure out how we get it submitted with using this flow. Set to submitted. We're going to set the approval status to submitted. Okay, that's there. Okay, so that's good. Now this flow, I think we're just going to somehow run the flow. Let me think. You know what? It doesn't have to be a screen flow. Let's not save this. Let's go back. Let's create a new flow that's going to be a record trigger flow when the record is set to submitted. And it's going to be an opportunity. And when the record is updated and the approval status is equal to submitted. Only when a record is updated to meet this condition We want to do actions. Okay. What do we want to do? We want to submit this for approval. Okay, I think this is going to work. Where is my triggering opportunity? And we want it to be the ID of the triggering opportunity. Okay. I don't think we actually need to submit the approval process name because we only have one. I think this is going to work. Submit for approval. I have a feeling this might work. At the end, it all comes together. So let's come here. Let's refresh. Okay. Here I am. I'm a sales rep on this opportunity, and I need to submit this for approval. How am I going to do that? I'm going to come here. I'm going to mark it as approved. No, as submitted. Sorry, as submitted. So we probably want to prevent me from marking it. Right, yeah. There's ways of doing that. I'm going to hit. Oh, it's already in the approval process. Okay. Let's go to a new opportunity. Let's go to a new opportunity. So let's come to the opportunities tab and not do one that I've been playing with so much, right? That'll I think help. Let's go to this one here. So one more time, I'm a sales rep. I'm like, hey, I need to submit this for approval. Let me mark it as submitted. Oh, it's still not working. Missing next approver IDs. Okay. I know what the issue is. Let's go to our approval process. So I need to specify who the approver is. Let's edit this, and we'll try to figure out how to do that. Because remember, I was selecting myself always. Right. Ideally, it would be based on like the manager field or something like that. Use approver field of opportunity owner. You could use either one of these. Okay, we could send an email, which would be nice. Random email. Sure, all that stuff looks good. Allow for the, yeah, we can do that too. Oh, or not. Okay. Okay. And the only thing I need to fill out now is on my user record, which I can get to like that. It's filling out another user who can hopefully be my manager or delegated approval manager. Let's just pick myself. I think that'll work. Maybe not. Okay. I mean, I think I can be my own manager, but do I have other users in this org? Let's go for it. Integration user. Look at that. That worked. Okay. This may break just because of that now, but let's try that. Next approver ID. Oh, you're killing me. Oh, did this flow not save? Wait, hold on a second. Is this the wrong flow? This is not the right flow. Okay, let me close some of my windows here. Leave. Okay, so let's make sure the flow is there. Submit for approval. It's active. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's go back to the flow. Next approver ID. Duh. I'm just going to put in my ID.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, that's interesting. I will hard code it if I have to, but hopefully I don't have to. Okay. Let's try that. The record data type, how can that not be? Oh, it's IDs plural, optional, and array. Can I just do that? Will that work? Okay. Let's create a new variable, a new resource. It's a variable, and we're going to call this approver IDs. It's a lot of work for what it is, but text, sure. And what I'm going to have to do is, let's close this a little. I need to assign and let's go ahead and put in the record ID with the owner. There, okay. And then here, we're going to come back, edit this element, and approve IDs. That should have been approver IDs, but that's okay. Okay. Save as, save, activate. I need to go back to the flow, not to the flow, to the approval itself, and not specify the approver. So there we go. Save. We want it to be passed in. Let's refresh, see what we can do. Okay. So I'm an end user. I'm a sales rep. I'm coming here. I'm saying it is submitted. I'm hitting save. Oh, so close. We got a different error though. ID value of incorrect. Oh, my bad. If we go back to my flow, let's just do this one here. I passed in the wrong field. Oh, and I just closed the question. Okay, so if we come back here to my, wait, was that the one? That is really weird. Let's try that one more time. Submit for approval. Oh, was it ask for approval or was it submit? Yeah, here it is. Okay, this is the one. I added the wrong ID here. I put opportunity ID. It should have been record owner ID. Okay, there we go. And we'll do save as, save, activate. Okay, one more time. I actually probably can just hit save. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so it marked it as submitted. It now shows this list here. I can then be the person who is authorized to edit this. So the end user would not be authorized to edit this, but the approver or an admin would be. I can come here and say rejected. Hit save. It's going to give me an error message, and then put the rejected reason and hit save. Now the problem is this is still
you still need to go over there and reject it.
State of waiting. So then after I do that, the approver needs to also come in here and hit reject.
Yeah.
So it's a multi-step operation. Now, if you didn't want it to do that, you would need a little bit of code to basically cause that rejection to happen on this being filled in. So this is close. I think it's not the greatest user experience because you're having to do your job twice.
Yeah.
But it's close. Yeah.
It is potentially it's a negative reinforcement training tool where this will force your users to put in a rejected reason, and eventually they'll get frustrated and say, why do I have to reject it twice? And you'll say, good, now you're used to putting a rejected reason. I can give you one less button to click as long as you promise not to ignore that anymore.
Yeah, so it probably would make more sense to, again, if you only have a single approval process in the like stage of this opportunity lifespan, whatever, you could do it with fields. But if you have an approval process when you're quoting and another approval process when you're scoping and whatever it may be, then it's not going to scale well with custom fields. You really want it to have the approval related list. But if it's just a very simple approval process, I probably wouldn't even use the real approval processes feature. I would just use 2 fields, some validation rules, and that's it. If you want, you can have emails that go out, things like that. But that's probably what I would do, unfortunately. Otherwise, you need a little bit of code to kind of have the UI cause things to happen over here, like automatic, like approving based on the approval over here, or rejecting based on the rejection over here on the left-hand side. And it's not the easiest code either, because these are really old objects and they're not ones that people are too familiar with. But yeah, those are the options, unfortunately. not great.
And then in terms of building your own with fields and validation rules, could you also build your own with flow?
Yeah, so you could do that too. So you could have the flow that kicks off the process, ask them questions like, why are you submitting? Why did you give a discount? Things like that. And then those would fill in fields. And then send an email to the person that I need to approve it saying, Matt would like you to approve this opportunity. Here's the information they provided. Here's a link to it. When the approver then goes to the record, they could then see a new button or a new section over here that is dynamically displayed based on this being marked as the status being marked as submitted. And in there, click a button that says rejected or approved or choose drop downs or something like that. That would probably be the better way to do it. And all that could be done without code. So if you're willing to not use the standard approval process functionality, you can actually do it all without code.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So trickier than we had hoped, but solvable a few different ways. And we learned some of the lesser expected functionality of the aging approval process feature.
Yeah.
I do want to, we're not even on the screen anymore. I had to keep moving us around so we could see. So we were doing a lot of up here and then down here. But let me go ahead and put Michelle's question back up, and I will go ahead and write up the response here. I would like to thank Matt once again for joining us for another round of Q&A with Matt K. And to remind our audience, if you have questions of your own to submit, please send them to quick2.click/Q&A. One final reminder to please like and subscribe to the channel while you're here. And thank you, Matt, for being willing to do this. And thank you, folks, for watching.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, and we'll see you next week. Bye.